right, that's enough of that. Welcome back to the weather program. I know it's been a little while. We haven't covered a lot of weather lately. I'm very happy to say, though, that I don't think we've missed a lot of weather lately. It's really been a very quiet start to the winter season. We had a pretty good shot of some cold and some wintry weather back in December. There was a couple of mid-Atlantic storms, the one notable nor'easter. Otherwise, the eastern U.S. really has missed out on any significant snow outside of a few lake effect events that, of course, is very typical of this time of the year. Welcome to the program. I'm not going to keep you very late tonight. I just kind of wanted to dip my feet back into the forecasting waters. I've been away from it too long. I've missed it as we've been covering other items such as news and some politics on our other social media pages. But I wanted to stop in tonight here on this 21st day of January to take a look ahead. We'll look at where we're at, and then we'll look at where we're going, specifically focused on weather across the eastern United States. Thank you very much for being here. And we'll go ahead and we'll get you started as we have been seeing, again, not a ton of snow so far this year. Let's see what we've got. See if I can't load this on into the show as we show you basically the amount of snowfall that has fallen according to the North American. This is a no HRSC Analyst 2.5 kilometer, kind of giving you the breakdown of where the snow has been and where we haven't seen so much activity at all. Obviously, eastern United States, you've had a couple of mid-Atlantic nor'easters that have contributed greatly, but otherwise, you can see there's just not a lot going on. You've got the one belt here, much of western New York missing out to the south of Lake Ontario, the exception being downwind of Lake Erie and downwind of Lake Ontario to the east side where you've had the heavier snows. But areas that seen nothing, almost nothing, and that includes parts of the southern plains, into portions of the middle Mississippi River Valley, into parts of the Ohio River Valley, and of course the southeast, nothing at all, the exception being a week or two ago when we had the one system make its way across portions of Dixie with some decent snows. But again, overall, snowfall has been lacking this season, so not a whole lot to speak of there. Currently, things are pretty quiet. Let's take a look at current radar imagery, taking a look across the eastern Great Lakes right now. Do have the one significant lake effect band that continues downstream of Lake Ontario, and you can see that clearly here, and that'll continue to add where they do have active winter storm warnings that are in effect for that area according to the National Weather Service out of Buffalo. You can see that lake effect winter storm or lake effect snow warning from Fulton to Watertown, where they could be looking at locally a foot plus of snowfall tonight and into the day tomorrow. Otherwise, it is really, really quiet across the central United States here as we speak. Not a lot going on. All right, with that being said, let's take a look at some computer model imagery here. Get an idea of what we can expect as we move forward. So we'll start you with the short range. This is the high-res NAM. Got a bit of a clipper system making its way through the northeast, bringing some blast of some snow showers. Overnight and then into your Friday, we'll see perhaps some decent snows on the southeastern side and southern side of Ontario, at least for a period where, again, a few inches of possibility. Could have a bit of a lake, a connection with the upstream bodies of water tomorrow night and into Saturday morning. That's downwind of both Lake Huron and Jejerian Bay as it connects with both Ontario and eastern sections of Lake Erie. Snowfall with that, though, not expected to be a ton. Maybe just enough to kind of whet your appetite. Okay, I appreciate you guys being on here. I've got Robin Kuhlman, lights, camera, and action. This will be a short show, Robin. Thanks for being on. Just wanted to cover a little bit of weather tonight. If you guys don't mind a quick thumbs up, we appreciate that. And we're going to take a look into the month of February. So this is, again, short-term weather. Doesn't look like it's going to be too problematic. I'll bring you back over to the forecast. This is the Weather Prediction Center, a branch of NOAA. And we'll take a look at the short-term expectation with, again, a front making its way through the eastern United States. Pretty good low from Ontario into Quebec, Canada. And that low, again, filtering the cold air around the Great Lakes. You'll end up with lake-enhanced and lake-effect snow showers. Got a front that hangs up along the Gulf Coast with some rain and thunderstorms. High pressure moves in behind it, gives us clearing skies across the western central Great Lakes here on Friday night. Pretty good cold blast, I'll mention, with that as well. And then we'll watch the next system as it begins to generate. Some questions about this one, because this is going to be impacting early next week. How far north does this storm lift is the question. Where it's going to bring a lot of rain, and the potential is going to be there for at least a corridor of some heavier snow. So we'll be watching that as we head towards Monday and Monday night. Hello.
Are you live?
I am live.
Oh.
Okay. A.K.A. Lisa Ray checking in on me. Are you not painting? I thought you were painting or something today.
I did a little of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sure?
Just checking in. Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks for checking in.
Sure.
I appreciate that. I know my audience does. Anyway. All right. Like I said, we're not going to keep this too long. I do want to focus on the system here for Monday. Because there's a considerable differences between the models. And in fact, if you take a look at the European model, it brings a pretty good swath of snow pretty far north. All right, let's let this animate here. European low moves into central Ohio Valley, and then it brings the snow. Again, that would be not insignificant snowfall for parts of the central and eastern Great Lakes. But it's much weaker than what it was advertising about 24 hours ago. And this is not the same solution that the GFS is offering. Not really even close, honestly. GFS is much more suppressed. It's a weaker system, and honestly, it's not an interesting system to me. There's just not a lot of snow. It's weak. It's flat. Outside of some elevational areas of PA, West Virginia, that wouldn't be much. And then we'll compare that with one other model here. Let's go on over to the Canadian. Here's the gem, same model, and it's kind of a blend between the GFS and the Euro. Could be a narrow band of some heavy snow. That would bring it into the southern tier, parts of northern PA, northern Ohio. Some backside into northern Indiana as well. I wouldn't hold your breath for that, though. Again, I don't think that's the... I don't know. It could go either way. Either way, it's not going to be a blockbuster. A few inches of snow for sure. For some areas, it's not a lock for, western New York, and certainly not the North Country. Okay, with that being said, here's a look at the jet stream, and let's go back in time before we go forward. This is the 18 Zulu. I'm going to take it back. This is a 12Z run. Showing you what's occurring now. We've got two streams kind of coming together. And then you've got some cold air trying to make its way into central Canada. That kind of gets sheared out. There's the next wave associated with the low on Monday. And then we'll see more ridging after that developing into the southeast, which is going to prevent any long-term cold air intrusion into the southeastern United States. All right, that was what we were just showing you. I want to take a look at the wider scale. Now, this is the European ensemble, looking at 500 millibar jet stream winds. And the problem with this winter so far for the eastern United States has been the lack of any sort of real blocking across the eastern Atlantic. The ridging has been too strong for the southeastern United States, thanks in large part to the water temperatures over the Gulf of Mexico, the eastern Atlantic, and that's been producing ridging. And so far, the troughing has been most persistent out west, and that, of course, is where you've seen your pretty good snows. It's out here. And this is where you've had the ridging, again, over the eastern U.S., and that's just not going to be conducive for any sort of lasting wintry pattern across the east. But this begins to break down as we approach February. So according to the European ensembles, what we will see is more of a unified jet pattern and more troughing across the central United States. And I can show you that here. Oh, come back. Here you go. So instead of having, a large trough across the west, it kind of becomes more centralized into the center part of the continent, the North American continent, with a not a displaced polar vortex, but one that is drifting further south into North America. And that is traditionally associated with longer-term cold air outbreaks. So if this is can be verified, as we work our way into the 1st of February, then I begin to see the cold getting entrenched, not just across the northern tier, but across much of the eastern United States. So this would be a time frame. Again, there's the polar vortex trough axis extending right down the center of the continent. And this is also, climatologically, it's pretty close to coldest part of the year as we enter that first week of February. I think climatologically, this is the snowiest time of the year for the eastern United States, and it may come at that time that we could see, depending on storm track, we could see several snowmakers during that period of time, exiting January, entering the first part of February. So I don't think that would be a big surprise to a lot of people, because again, it's not unusual. But it is unusual to get this late into the season without significant snowfall for parts of the eastern United States, which is the way it's been. Okay, so this is the ensemble, European ensemble for jet stream winds. I want to take a look at the temperature reflection here. And this is going to be 850 temperatures. And again, what we're looking for are the colder pockets, which for much of the month of January, it's just not there. There's just not the lasting cold. But you begin to see a pattern change here as we head on into the first part of February. So let's move forward. This is January 30th, and there it is. Okay, and so that's what we're looking at with what would be significant cold air banking against the Great Basin and from the Rockies into the central United States, and that would have a pipeline all the way through the Pacific Northwest, Alaska, and then across the pole into Siberia. So there would be what would be a duration cold if this were to come to fruition. But we're only as good as our tools. So let's take a look at the new run of the European Weekly, which came in last night, and this is a climate model. And what we're looking here, these are 500 millibar anomalies. And so this is the remainder of the month of January here. And I'm going to stop it right here. So this is January, the last day of January. And you can see where you've got distinct ridging, which would be right across the center part of the continent of the U.S. again. But you've got two lobes of low pressure, one over the Gulf of Alaska, the other one over the North Atlantic. So this would essentially make for a large omega ridge. But watch what happens as we move forward in time. The ridge gets squashed, and it's replaced by what we were showing you. This is going into the first week of February. And that is large-scale troughing. So you go from trough, ridge, trough to ridge, trough, ridge, and that's what you need to get the cold air to funnel on into the rest of the United States. So if that holds consistent, then I think that we might be in business again for some snow into the long term. European Weekly, as far as temperatures are concerned, there's what we're looking for. It's that persistence of blue, and this will go throughout the month of February. So the current run, it really does. It just keeps bringing in the cold, one fetch after another, down out of the Great Basin, trajectory out of the northwest for the Northwest Territories of Alaska, of Canada and Alaska, I should say. And you can see this runs all the way clear through March, where you've got cold air again being directed by a rather strong and vigorous westerly jet stream. So, moral of the story is that while much of the eastern U.S. has not seen a lot of winter weather, we've still got a lot of time. I think it'd be difficult for many areas to catch up on their seasonal averages, but it's not without question. And as far as the potential of a big storm, it's there. Definitely plenty of time, plenty of cold air. These patterns, they tend to go a month or two at a time, and we've seen that. The last time we had any real solid Arctic air, I think, across the eastern U.S. would be back in November. So we've gone December, and now the majority of January without. I think that changes February. Around February 1st, we'll see another pattern change, and that'll likely go throughout the rest of February, maybe well into March, and that's going to be your winter. February through at least mid-March. That's my prediction. Of course, it is subject to change. Thanks for being here. Guys, I appreciate you guys. Have a great night, and we will talk again soon. Bye.
Thank you.